friends? My name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. That's funny. You ever do that? I know that you guys have all done that. I know every single one of you have done that, where like, I don't know, just sometimes you just jam the yaw stick all the way over and just or you just hammer the throttle and pitch forward and back like a lunatic. That was a funny battery. I forgot all about that. That's a gym. That was back on March 26th of 2020. That gym is right here by my apartment, and yeah, I totally forgot that I flew around there and I went down the slide and I hit that wire, that invisible wire, almost put it in the fucking pool there. God, it's so funny. I was watching that and it all kind of came back to me. That rig was acting funny. Could you guys hear the lack of power basically on that rig? I think maybe that's what I was doing at the end there. Because yeah, you could tell by the pitch at full throttle that it wasn't making a lot of power. And I mean, it just wasn't making a lot of power. But yeah, that's funny, man. It's funny to watch, you know, one out of like 1,000 batteries from 2020 and like remember it and be like right in that moment. You know what I mean? Something that's cool about video editing too. I have edits that I made 10 years ago, 15 back when I was into cars, 15 years ago when I was into airsoft, and like when I watch those edits to this very day, I'm like transported to that moment. Partially because, you know, I was in the moment at the time that it was being filmed, but then also with edits, what's cool is, you know, you pour 10, 15, 20 hours, even like 5 hours into an edit, and that like locks it into your brain even more, so you have an even more specific memory of that moment in your past. Welcome, new people. This is what we do around here. Stream of consciousness life. In the chat, CMYKFPV was first, ImpFPV was next, Bob Noxious, Chomper FPV, Adam Bellingham, Kaiser Soze, Guillermo, Jackalope, Flyborg, Remy Tim, Steady Eddie, Scott FPV, Chuck King, Family Guyver, License to Drive, B-Man, Doom, Patio Patterson, Huff19, YouTube just did the thing. If you want the gangliest of ganglies to read your name, you gotta get in early, you gotta say something. If you want me to read your comment, just type my name, CiottiFPV. You don't have to put an @ in front of it, but you certainly can. And you can do this with anybody else. If you type someone's name into the chat and spell it correctly, you can, oh boy. It'll highlight in orange for them. Oh boy. Oh boy, here we go. Okay, that's better. Yeah, there you go. This is my full-time job. If you'd like me to keep on doing this, help a brother out. Go over to CiottiFPV.com, click a bunch of buttons. Patreon helps me out the most. It's 10 cents a day. And then there's a ton of benefits over there. Audio versions of the live streams, Discord channel, articles, tech articles that I've written over there, exclusive content. There's like a YouTube playlist with 80 some odd exclusive Patreon only videos. So do it. That's about it. That's about it. We're going to see if we can't finish up the 2Fiddy tonight and do the giveaways. 4 giveaways tonight. 3 of them are Patreon specific. 1 of them is open to anyone. To get in on the Patreon giveaways, you got to join either the $5, $10, or $20 a month tiers or above that. The $5 a month tier is for Tiny Whoop and Toothpick stuff. The $10 a month tier is for 3-inch micro brushless and Cinewhoop stuff. The $20 a month tier is for 5-inch parts. You can jump on the Patreon right now if you want to get in on tonight's or every other week, every other Monday, I should say. We do these giveaways. So if you join in the next 2 weeks, you'll be in on next Monday's giveaway. But don't join right now. I need to eat. Look how skinny I am. Bob Noxious says, what's up, my friend? Chomper FPV says, what's up? CMYK says, how did the racing sim go? Terrible, to be completely honest. A very frustrating session of Gran Turismo today. But, you know, that's how it goes sometimes. To get good at something, I mean, just in general, if you do something for a while, you have bad days and bad whatevers. But like specifically, yeah, like if you want to get good at something and you want to keep, you're gonna have to keep doing it over and over and over again, and there's gonna be pain in there. So yeah, it is what it is. Next time I jump on the sim, maybe it'll be a lot more fun. But today was just very annoying. Nürburgring is a really frustrating racetrack because of I mean, it's a public road mainly, but yeah, the crown of the road really makes the camber change all the time, and then the elevation is just hard to see on a two-dimensional TV. The driving sim is interesting. Like, it's fun, but it's also very frustrating. Like, it's weird, like knowing how to do something in real life and then trying to do it on a video game is an interesting process. Like, especially when you're really good at something in real life, you just expect to be really good at it in a video game version of it, because your brain is kind of like, well, it's a fake version. Why wouldn't I dominate and destroy and not have to work? So yeah, it's interesting. It's weird. That's happened to me twice now. That happened to me with Airsoft. Like, I played Airsoft for like almost 10 years, got really good, and then first-person shooters after that became really frustrating, and I really didn't enjoy them. And now it's happened with cars too, which is wild. But, you know, whatever. Family Guyver says, what's up, Collective? B-Man says, holla! Jackalope says, dope spot. Alley-Oop says, what's up? CMYK says, almost lost in the pool. Yeah, that wire was 100% invisible. JVFPV says, that would edit with your flow state homies was a banger, straight fire from all angles, loved it. Thank you, JVFPV. Remember that FinnFPV edited that for me, so if you want your flying to look that good, FinnFPV can help you out. His rates are really, really good, and he does great work. B-Man FPV says, you have an unreal amount of old footage that you just put out now. B-Man, you have no... here, I'll give you an idea. Here, look. I was about to say you have no idea, but I can just show you. Alright, check this out. Hold on. So here's 2020. None of this is edited. Not any of this is edited. February 16th, Sunday, cloudy. March 9th, pipes. March 21st, best spot in Alpharetta. March 28th, Dunwoody at night. March 29th, Dunwoody with steel. March 30th, Buckhead. April 18th, OG crew. May 10th, high school. That's just a couple batter. That's actually... What is that? That's a micro. What is that? Oh my god, cancer, ear cancer. This is the Acrobrat, maybe? This is the Acrobrat. This is when I got the Acrobrat onto the 1804 motors, I believe. This was when the Acrobrat really came alive in terms of flight performance. But this is also when the Acrobrat started to break all the time because I started flying it really hard. And I was comfortable flying it because it was finally like flying really good, and so the crashes started to get way worse, and the frame really didn't hold up to like hard slams. I mean, I did have big motors on it too, and it was pretty heavy. I mean, you know, that was a rig designed to be 250 grams, and at this point, this build was like 270 grams. And I mean, I was I was doing big, like 5-inch shit, you know, like look at these big throws. So yeah, this is when it really started to get wild with that build. And this computer can go to hell. June 6th, Lake Lanier. June 13th, T-Motor F40 Pro 4 test. That's when I first got them. Bunch of Insta360 Go stuff. That's interesting. What's this? Oh, this is just flying out front. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And this is just 2020. Here's 2021. A lot of this here in 2021 is cinematic shit. So this is just, you know, me hanging on to it. And then I have shit in 2019. Here's 2019. Here's a ton of stuff I haven't really gotten to in 2019. Hero 7 testing? Really? What the fuck? Oh, at the field. Oh, at that soccer field. Interesting. Oh, cool. Flying around the bridge. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Finn is actually ready for another, is ready to do another one, so I gotta pick something and send him some footage. So, yeah, there'll be another one coming. Okay, let me get back to the chat and get caught up here. Hey, this is a Q&A stream, so any questions that you guys have, leave them. You can just tag me at CiottiFPV, or do a super chat, or go to CiottiFPV.com and there's a PayPal button. If you do a super chat, YouTube takes 30%. If you just go over there and do PayPal and then tag me in the comments and say, yo, I sent you a question on PayPal, I can go over there and do the thing. June Loca says, I finally got a GoPro 8. What's your favorite settings for the best footage? Pretty standard kind of stuff on GoPros, regardless of if it's the Session or the Hero or the 7 or the 8 or the 6 or the 9 or the 10. You want to limit your ISO from 100 to 400. You never want to let the ISO go higher than 400 because it starts to get really noisy. And it also starts to basically let in too much light at nighttime. And your nighttime footage will look like shit. It'll be grainy as hell, and it'll be too bright. You want to lock your... well, it depends. If you're going to run your footage through iMovie or Premiere or DaVinci Resolve or something like that where you can correct white balance, then you want to lock your white balance at 5500, and then you can fix it in post, basically. If you're not going to run your footage through any kind of editing software, leave it on auto white balance because it does a pretty good job. And then you want to put the sharpness on low. If you're sharpness on medium. I think medium is the sweet spot for the sharpness, and that's pretty much it. Sometimes, I mean, if you want, you can fuck around with locking the shutter, but I really don't like that. I've actually been able to convince a couple of directors of photography and producers to let me leave the shutter on auto because they're like, oh god, no. And I finally have figured out a way of explaining it to them, so that they'll realize that A, I know what I'm talking about, and B, it's for the type of flying that we do, it's typically better. It typically saves you more than it hurts you. What's making that noise? Is it you, Hammer? Okay, it's fine. Everything's fine now. There was a noise, guys. There was a noise. License to Drive says, my YouTube channel is like a time machine for me. I've uploaded flights I like, and it's nice to see how I've progressed. Yeah, that too. That's really, really fun. Yeah. Ooh. Make videos, guys. I know it's hard. I know it's annoying. I know you don't want to do it. But 10 years from now, you will thank 2021, October 25th, you. Even if you just make them private, put them up there, and then there'll be a timestamp, and you'll be like somewhere, and you'll be able to just go to your YouTube channel and like show somebody something, and you'll be like, ha, yeah. It's fun. It's worth the effort. Jam Fan Hobbies in the house. What's up, Mike? How are you? JVFPV says poop. Jackalope says, lost my first quad over the weekend. Flying on a ridge between two ponds and bounced off the ground. At least I got some good footage first. Oh, did you get DVR footage? Thank effing God. It sucks that you lost a rig, but it sounds like you were in a spot where you knew there was a chance you were gonna lose it. And it's like, that's a 4 terabyte drive, Josh. I have another 4 terabyte drive. That drive is actually filled. I have a new 4 terabyte drive I just recently got, actually. because the cinematic footage here, what I don't like about the cinematic side of things is that you got to run the GoPro. You got to run the GoPro as hard as it'll go. 4K, 4x3, 30, or 2.7, 4x3, 60. In the Hero 8's case, once I go up to the Hero 10, I'll need to run it 5K, 4x3, 30, 4K, 4x3, 60. Because that's, you know, the editors are mixing it with typically red footage. And those files are gigantic. Like, what you guys were just looking at was all 2.7K 16:9, which is, like, way smaller. Like, it feels like it's almost half the size. So, yeah. This 4TB hard drive will fill up a lot quicker than the one that's in the computer, because this is going to get all the cinematic footage put onto it, which is all going to be 4K 4x3, which is just gigantic. You know what? 4K 4x3 is more than twice the size than 2.7 16:9, come to think of it. I'm pretty sure. All right. Where are we at in the chat here? B-Man says, how does one amass this much unused footage? Just fly. Fly and stop deleting any of your footage. Just save all your footage and just fly a lot. I mean, you just remember, right? Like, the majority of this FPV journey for me has been about becoming a better pilot. Like in the list of, like, priorities, you know, like, things that I want to be, like, good at, right? This hobby has 20 different things probably that you have to kind of be good at and pick. You know, are you going to be good at social media? Are you going to be good at thumbnails? Are you going to be good at editing? Are you going to be good at building? Are you going to be good at technical knowledge, right? So all those things, right, we've all got our, like, internal priority list of, like, which ones are most important and least important. So, like, me, for example, building and shit is the least important because I hate it the most. The most important has pretty much always, for the last almost 5 years, been pilot. It's just improving my pilot skills to just be as good of a pilot as possible. And the main way to do that is just to fly a shitload. And then another big part of that is to watch your footage back. Like, that's the part that, and like, you're not just watching it back to, like, jerk off. You're watching it back to really, like, beat the shit out of yourself, basically. And just, yeah, you just look for every little thing that you do wrong or that the quad does wrong, and just sit and think about how to fix it. And so, yeah, I would always come home with memory cards, and I would dump them to the hard drive, and then I would watch them off of the hard drive. So just, like, even like that cloudy one, like cloudy day, like, that footage is gonna suck. But you know, I didn't. Where is it? Where's cloudy? Cloudy. What is this? Why did I save cloudy footage? Oh, this was actually kind of a fun day. This wasn't kind of a fun day. This was a fun day. Yeah, this is a great spot, but yeah, it's cloudy as fuck. So what I'll probably do, because there's some good flying in here, what I'll probably do is go, like, nuts with like a LUT or crazy with the colors or something like that, just to make it like a fucking art piece or something like that. Or what I'll actually do is never look at it for another 10 years, and it'll just sit and rot here on the hard drive. That's what I'll actually do. Philly McGyver says, posting edits is a whole new hobby. Oh, there you go. Yeah, right, posting edits. That's the whole thing. It's a whole new hobby. Just started. I'm up to 12 subscribers. Nice, Family McGyver. Just keep going. That's the only way. It's the only fucking way. Everybody go subscribe to Family Guyver or I'll stab your goddamn faces! Dusty Joe FPV says, what's up, dude? Starting my 2Fiddy build this week. Wish me luck. Very cool. You'll get to see me hopefully finish this one up here tonight. Austin Jennings says, blew up a Caddx Peanut is the replacement program like the GoPro. Well, here we go. Austin, don't feel too bad. I blew up my Insta360 Go 2 on the very first battery. So, and I was hoping that the Caddx Peanut, that Caddx had done something to make that one, to make the Peanut more durable. But I mean, unless, like, you tell me, was it like a really hard slam? Like, I didn't really crash the Go 2 all that hard. Like, it was, I whacked it pretty good, but like, I didn't think it was going to be broken. I usually have a pretty good feel, like, when I'm walking to the quad, whether or not it's going to be totaled or, you know, shit like that. I did not think it was going to be, I was surprised. So I'm interested to hear, oh God, very first battery too. Wow, that's two of us. Lost DJI signal and bounced it from the 100 feet. Okay, so I mean, that sounds like you kind of. So when you were walking to the rig, did you assumed that something would be blown up? I have a feeling that sounds like a pretty nasty one. You can't really expect. But see, that's the thing. Like, a session will take 100-foot drop like it got sneezed on by a mouse. So yeah, I don't know. It's hard. That's what she said. B-Man says 2.7K 16:9 for me. Don't know why I would use the 4x3. The point to using 4x3. Well, here's actually what's interesting. I used to use 4x3 way back when, so that because I ran a 20-degree GoPro mount, and what was cool is I could crop high. I could crop to 16:9 high on the frame if I was covering a lot of ground, almost like running a 30-degree GoPro mount, or I could crop in the middle or low if I was going really slow, which was kind of interesting, but I just got kind of annoyed by it, and then eventually I started using Super View, and I actually liked Super View better because it squashes it for you. And so I did 2.7 Super View forever. The whole 4x3 thing, nowadays, the reason why I use 4x3 is for Real Steady Go. Real Steady Go really likes the 4x3 aspect ratio so that it can move the 16:9 frame up and down, which really helps with, like, when you change your pitch and when you bounce around, when you don't nail your elevation. So yeah, that's what 4x3 is useful for. Now that's why this whole new 4 terabyte hard drive will be filled with 4K 4x3 footage. GrizzFPV says, "What's up?" Chris Croft says it's fine after smacking it into race gates. What are we talking about, Chris? Are you talking about an Insta360 Go 2 by chance? Because your comment says that I'm fine after smacking me into race gates, which is, I don't think that's what you meant. Go 2. Okay, cool. Chris, do you have it in like a full TPU mount? I did not. I did not have mine in a full TPU mount, and I have a feeling that has something to do with why it exploded. So from now on, this Saturday, I think my replacement will be here from Best Buy. Oh, hey, the original question about the Caddx Peanut. Sorry, Austin. No, there's not. That's why I waited to get the Insta360 Go 2. I did one of these here for an Insta360 Go 2 when it first came out, and chat got me up to the whatever it was, $300 pretty quick. But then I didn't buy it because I was like, guys, I don't want to waste your $300 on something that I could potentially break on the first battery. So I waited until until it was either at Best Buy or Amazon or somebody that has a physical damage protection plan. And Best Buy was first. 3 weeks ago, the Go 2 popped up on Best Buy, and I was able to buy it. I had to buy it online and have them ship it to the store, and then I had to pick it up from the store, but I was able to get the Geek Squad protection plan for $35. So I have a replacement one coming, which basically only cost me $35, because when you have to rebuy the replacement plan. But for the Caddx Peanut, I don't think there's a single place selling it that offers physical damage protection. Although I'm typing it into Amazon right now, and I might have to ram my foot in my mouth. Nope, I don't. So yeah, the Caddx Peanut ain't gonna get into Best Buy, right? So Geek Squad Protection Plan is off the table completely. I could totally see it hitting Amazon though. So if the Caddx Peanut makes it to Amazon, and if the seller decides to offer a Shurion physical damage protection, then, in my opinion, the Caddx Peanut is a little bit more realistic for us FPV freaks. Not all items. I'm looking for an item that has a Shurion, and I'm not finding it. But it's when you add an item to your cart, if the Shurion physical damage protection is available, it will give you a pop-up that says, "Hey, do you want to add physical damage protection 2 years for whatever, $35?" So yeah. But I would actually contact Caddx and see if they're willing to fix that damn thing for you. I have a feeling maybe you already have, but yeah. I'm fine with the fact that it broke. I'm just pissed off that I didn't get to see any footage. I'm really pissed off that I wasn't able to get any footage from it because I'm dying to know. The replacement screen that I had put on my cell phone broke today. It's like a week old. So I gotta be honest, I'm pissed. The place I didn't know that I needed to be careful of. I didn't know that there were. I've never had a phone screen replaced before, and I didn't realize that there was Apple approved repair parts and not Apple approved repair parts. So I just brought this to like the closest place to me called Gadget Zone, I think. And they replaced the front and back, and then when they gave it back to me, the home button wasn't working right, and they're like, we just would have to replace that too. So then they replaced that too. And when they gave it back to me with the screen, I did notice that the screen looked different, like the colors were more muted. And this screen is actually also thicker, so it actually hangs. The screen is now taller than the edges of the case. I took the case off. But yeah, it was obvious that it wasn't the same screen. And I asked them about it, and they said, "Oh no, yeah, that's Apple authorized stuff." And then I read online that yeah, they all lie. And the other, this screen doesn't work as good. Not only does it not look as good, but it doesn't work as good. And now the new home button that they put in is terrible too. It's really delayed, which again, I read about online after the fact. So yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just gonna suck it up as a lesson learned. Hey, I'm gonna suck it up as a lesson learned, and I'm gonna tell a couple hundred people here on the internet, if you need to get your iPhone screen replaced, go to the Apple store and either let them do it or ask them for. Apparently, you can ask them for who the authorized dealers are locally, and make sure you get your shit fixed with Apple parts, because yeah, the aftermarket cheap replacement screens are fucking useless. Yeah, so I got frustrated today because the home button wasn't working, and I went like that with the phone, and the screen broke. On my exactly like that. I went like that, come on, and the screen breaks. What the fuck, So, don't go to Gadget Zone. The most first world of problems here on Monday night. Go-Kart Mozart says, "What's up, everybody? Fun racing earlier." Yeah, Go-Kart Mozart joined in on our on my little Gran Turismo Sport sim racing stream earlier. It was fun hanging out with him. I was just really frustrated with my driving, or lack thereof. Rocksteady FPV says, what's up? Crashed my brand new glide build really hard on concrete and an iron fence, and the frame held up. Vista antenna got ripped out. I think the Nebula Pro is dead. Jesus, you did slam it hard. Yeah, the glide frame, looks fragile, but it's got meat where it needs to have meat, and it's skinny where it needs to be skinny. Just like your boy, CiottiFPV. I hope Maggie's watching for that one. That was a good one. Go-kart, no, we got that. JVFPV says, how do you know when it's safe to pass wind, like air without a hint of shark? You know, I've been trying not to fart around my new girlfriend, so that's been a real issue for me lately. So let me tell you. I don't know the answer. Just gotta be sneaky. Isaac M says, what kind of music do you like? Kind of random, but was just wondering. I grew up on like classic rock, Zeppelin, Floyd, everything. I mean, you know. And then in high school I got into like metal, as you do. College, I was kind of all over the place, I think. And then in my 20s, it was a little bit of everything. More emphasis on like indie rock kind of stuff. Copeland, May, Dash, Jack's Mannequin, stuff like that. In my 30s, it was the same for a little bit, but then when I started flying FPV in my mid-30s, since dance music goes so well with our flying, I started listening to dance music just so that I could like find songs for my edits, and I haven't stopped yet. I have a starred playlist on Spotify with over 800 basically songs that would, not all of them, probably 700 of them would work for edits. But I've never stopped listening to that style music. But I am kind of all over the place. Blues, classic rock, hip-hop, funk, like retro synth pop kind of stuff. Bunch of different. I'm all over the place. I grew up, I started playing drums at 9 years old and played all through college. And my parents loved music, so I grew up in a house with all kinds of different music. Classical music, rock, jazz. And I took like 10 years of private drum lessons from an amazing jazz drummer, Tony DiNicola, up in New Jersey. So yeah, kind of all over the place with music. Chris Croft says, no store in Australia does physical damage protection for the Go 2. Yeah, we're pretty lucky here in America to have places that do physical damage protection. It ain't like that in the rest of the world. Austin says, yeah, that's what I want most is the footage. Yeah, did you not get any footage off yours either? Fuck. Bob Noxious says, damn, are you rough on all your things? I guess, I don't know. I smacked it on my hand. I was all frustrated. Frank says, send it to Apple. I couldn't really afford to send it time-wise, but I'm definitely going to bring it into the Apple Store, that's for sure. Best Buy is an authorized Apple repair center. Ooh, that's cool, but I don't like their work quality, etc. I gotcha. Screen broke because it wasn't the right size for the phone chassis. That does not... I bet you're absolutely right. Because it doesn't look like it is. Like, it's all fucking fat and like sitting up and like janky and shit. It's not good, man. Not good. Family Guyver says the internal aftermarket Apple internal batteries are crappy as well at times. Really? Jesus. I was about to say, I guess we have to take it to Apple to fix everything, but I mean, it's a good problem to have, right? Like, what it means is that Apple uses good quality components in their shit, thus their shit working well and being expensive. So yeah, I mean, we really can't get mad about this. Like, oh damn, I wish Apple made a shittier product so it would be like a fucking Android phone and I could gouge my eyes out with hot pokers. Like 30% of the chat just went, well, you know what? Fuck you. I like my Android phone. Family Guyver says, CMYK says, lots of poor quality component repairs. Best Buy is now an authorized repair, I believe. Gamma Gonad says, just let it rip. True relationship test. Soon. There's it's a funny part of relationships. There's like, in my and others that I've talked to experience, it's like Russian roulette. No, it's not like Russian roulette. I don't know. It's like something. Just pretend like I made a clever analogy now. There's like it's like a contest almost. Like who will be the first to crack? Who will be the first to fart in front of the other one? I remember with my ex-wife, it was her. In bed, she'd fallen asleep, and she just and it woke her up, and like we both just laughed about it. But yeah, I won that one, and I will win again this time. I don't care how many stomach aches I have to have. T-Bird says, "What's up? You can start. I'm here." Papa Gamer Souther says, "Good morning from side of the world, Dubai. Nice school run for some boys, but always tuned on you. Good to have you, Papa Gamer." Dubai, damn, that's got to be fun to fly there. Chomper says, "Classic battle of the butts." Jackalope FB says, "Just snagged a glide frame and even remember to use your link." Nice, Jackalope. Very cool. Much appreciated. YouTube just did the thing. Scrolling back up. Hey, there we go. Remy Tim says, "Make sure to schedule an appointment at the Apple Store. They don't usually take walk-ins." Yeah, fuckers. God, it's such a... man, I really avoid... I haven't been in an Apple Store in a long time. I really avoid going in there just because there's so many fucking people in there all the time. And, like, I don't like most people. Let's work on the... wow, everything's out of focus tonight. Let's work on this a little bit until, like, 11 o'clock, and then we'll do some giveaways, motherfuckers! That was aggressive. Okay, so we're gonna get some John Godwin, new patron. Welcome, my friend. Thank you for joining the collective, and welcome to hell. Right, so yeah, we're gonna get some double-side tape on these race wires, get them tacked down to the arms, and then we're gonna put the motors in, trim the leads, strip them, tin them, zap them down, and then I think we'll be good to go. I mean, I did put, like, I switched to AIO, but like everything else is all set, so like I don't really need to test the rig per se. This is the flight controller that was on it previously. There's nothing wrong with it, so I'm gonna pull the I don't know. I guess I could do a dump. No, you know what? I'll put this on 4.3. I'll just take a look at what I've done with the filters and the tune. Although I don't think I did anything wacky with the filters or the tune. I typically don't. Tuning has become... I don't need to spend much, if any, time on tuning anymore, because I've found motors and frames that are smooth running and strong enough that it's like good to go on default, and then I can just crank the P and D gains up by like 10 or 20 points and turn the filtering down a little bit, and the whole world is just perfect and happy and lovely. So yeah, I don't like. It's like kind of pointless for me to like. Ooh, let me do it. You know, like let me do a dump off of this. I can just as easily, just hop on to, or just do a clean. You know what I mean? A clean install. There we go. I got there. It took me a minute, but I got there. So I'm just gonna zip tie these little hammer hams down. The VHB is usually enough, but I hate when the one thing that I'm mainly afraid of with these specific race wires, but this is a concern with all the race wires, is they're conductive on the bottom, so you got to kind of be a little bit careful. I don't want them to rock and have the conductive, because on these ones, on these iFlight ones, they put pads on the top and bottom. See that? So there's pads on both the top and bottom. I mean, I guess I could no, soldering to the bottom would be way worse. That's a terrible idea. So yeah, I don't want those pads to touch the carbon because carbon is conductive, and it'll go boom boom. So yeah, I like to zip tie them down because that keeps it nice and flat. If you don't zip tie it down, there's a chance that it'll rock because the VHB is foam at heart, right? It's just foam with adhesive on either side. Let's keep going. Brett Marak says, what size race wires do you use on the Glide and the Ripsqueak? On the Glide, I use the full size, not full size, but like the regular ones, which are, I think, 25 millimeters long. These ones. These like regular old race wires. But then on the Ripsqueak, you have to use really short ones, and there's only one set that you can use. They're made by Flywoo, and they are 9 millimeters wide and 15 millimeters long. Those are the only ones that'll work on the little short Ripsqueak arms, unless you like cut your motor wires really. I mean, you already have to cut your motor wires pretty short to use those, but like you would have to cut your motor wires horrendously short to use anything longer than 15 millimeters. Do I have one of those out here? No, I don't. But yeah, they're made by Flywoo. The only place you can buy them is on Flywoo's website. And I know they do ship from overseas, but they ship pretty quick, so you won't have to wait very long for them. I was actually like shocked at how quickly they got to me. So, you'll be alright. Richard says, I saw a Dubai real estate clip on Instagram the other day. I don't know who the pilot was, but they building dove that huge tower skyscraper there. Yeah, it feels like in Dubai they don't really have any drone laws, so people can just like go ham. Because I've seen some pretty sick shit, FPV shit around those big ass buildings in Dubai. I'm like, fuck, man. We couldn't. It's just like shit that I guess we could get away with it here in this country, but who am I kidding? We can get away with anything. FAA don't give a fuck for the most part. I was just reading on the Cinewoop Facebook group though that somebody was flying a big ass concert and there was an FAA rep there because the concert was right next to 2 airports or something like that. And yeah, so this drone pilot, I forget his name now. He had an FAA person with him the entire shoot, and he typed up a nice little like 3-4 paragraph thing. It's really cool. And then somebody was talking shit, and I felt it necessary to stomp on their fucking head. Somebody just commented and was like, people like you are the reason that it was just so asinine, and like, I'm just so fucking tired of people ripping, like, this dude made a post to let people know, like, something really valuable, and like, he didn't have to take his time out to fucking type that and post that, but he did for the good of others, and then this fucking asshole comes, And like I just can't I can't do it, man. When shit like that happens, I fucking lose my mind. I'm like, no, I don't care. Like, just don't be a fucking dick, you know? Just every day, all day, just like 100 times a day, just think to yourself, like, what, does this make me a dick? Like, and if you hesitate for a second, don't do it. Don't do that thing. I can't fucking stand that shit. So yeah, I yelled at him, and it felt great. I gotta tell you guys, it felt fucking great. It always does. I'm always doing it for me. I always do it for me. I like to masquerade as if I'm doing it to help the not masquerade. I like to whatever word that makes sense here, that I'm doing it to help the other person out. But no, I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for me, 100%. It's all about me. I don't know. I can't deal with people anymore. Like, there's just, just don't be a dick. Just don't be a dick. I'm like, I try. I don't really have to try, I guess. It's just like, it's just easy. It's easy to not be a dick. That's the thing. Like, just don't. It's easy. And like, it's fine. Like, if you just don't act like a dick, like, it's gonna be cool. Like, people are gonna like you. People aren't gonna hate you. It's a good thing. Like I'm trying to help you out. Help me help you. Help me help you. Can somebody ask me an FPV questions? There's plenty of FPV questions. Oh my god, there's shitloads of FPV questions. I really need to get this monitor moved over. Chris Croft says, I just use VHB table on mine LED race wire, but it's rubberized and not foam. Nice. Yeah, I used just VHB for a while, but then I just got tired. Every once in a while, if you get a really nasty prop strike, it'll rip it off, and I just don't like it. CMYKFPV says, tips and tricks for a Cinesplorer build. I did my Cinesplorer builds on streams. So you could just go to like my main list of videos and use the little search function in the top right. Search for Cinesplorer. You'll find a bunch. I don't remember anything off the top of my head. It's a pretty simple build. Yeah, I don't remember anything specific off the top of my head, but I mean, while you're doing your build, if you leave a stream or two of me doing my build on, maybe you'll pick up on something here or there. But yeah, there's nothing that really jumps out at me as like a gotcha or like a thing that like, oh, if you don't do it, you'll be doomed or whatever, So yeah, I would just say let her rip. Let me put this standoff in place here for a second, just to make sure that I get this race wire taped down in just the right location. Alright, so that's good. And then, oh, come on, you fart bag bastard. There we go. Okay, so we got it like that, and then I want to make sure there's some slack, and that should be just about perfect. All right, way to go, Donnie. We've got all 4 of these motherfuckers down. Next step, jack up your car. Mighty Car Mods continued their Gen 1 RX-7 EFI conversion today. That was fun to watch that. I would love to get one of those first gen RX-7 someday. I have fond memories of junior year of high school, getting to hang out with the cool kids and getting rides home from school in one of those cars. Unfortunately, I was in the trunk. The trunk being under glass, so I was, you know, I wasn't like in the dark in the trunk. Yeah, I have a little history with those cars. And the naturally aspirated 13B lasts forever. I wish there was a way to make power with them, and I wish the gas mileage wasn't so fucking abysmal. But yeah, kind of have to own a rotary at some point in my life. It's just sort of one of those things you just gotta go for. All right, cool. What time is it? 10:56? Shit on a pancake. Adam Bellingham says, I put a strip of electrical tape on the back of the race wire on the arm before I VHB zip tie them down. Probably overkill. That's a good idea. Or you could put the electrical tape on the arm itself. That would work too. Adrian says, Nazgul F5 a decent rig. Really want to get into true FPV and not crash my DJI FPV. Need a basher rig. I don't usually hear any real crash feedback when it comes to the ready to fly rigs. So I don't know. But most of these frames nowadays are totally fine. So it's probably great. And even if it's not, even if like the arms are weak, for example, that's not a super terrible thing. Like, arms breaking is the cheapest possible way for a bunch of energy to get absorbed in the easiest to replace possible location. So yeah, as long as like the base plate or the top plate aren't breaking, that's a total pain in the ass. And I mean, there are some frames that'll happen on, but like I think the manufacturers have finally gotten past that. So I think any of these bind and fly rigs for the most part are really, really good nowadays. YouTube should do the thing. Scrolling back up. Carbon Cage says, "What's up?" Big and little cage literally standing upside down. It's crazy, defying gravity. Riot9 says, "Don't be an eggplant." Winter collection available soon. Chris Croft says, "But anyone saying anything nice about the FA or any local agency, they are wrong in destroying the hobby, etc., etc., etc." Yeah, pretty much. That's what that was sort of the approach of the other guy, but in just such a stupid fucking way. It's 10:58. Let's do the giveaways. 諦めんなよ。諦めんなお前。どうしてそこでやめるんだそこで。もう少し頑張ってみろよ。ダメやめ諦めたら周りのことを思うよ。応援してる人たちのことを思ってみろって。あともうちょっとのところなんだろ。俺だってこのマイナス10度のところしじみが取れるって頑張ってんだよ。絶対やってみろ。必ず目標達成できる。だからこそネバギブアップ。So that was a happy accident. That's a good. That plays through OBS. Was that stuttery or was that not? That should have been smooth. It looked smooth on my side. That's a good chance to hit refresh on all these tabs. The Wheel of Names tab is kind of slow that we use for the giveaways. That works pretty well. Cool. Works fine? Cool. Good. So I'll do that in the future. So, one of the other perks of joining the Patreon for 10 whole cents a day is that you'll get access to the Discord channel called... It's called The Video Collective. And in the Video Collective, you can post your edits. While I'm setting up the giveaways, I will play 3 of said edits. Tonight it's going to be Grizz FPV, AIO, and Scott FPV. So let me get these opened up here. Pull them over to the second monitor, mute them, pause it, and let's grab another one here. What the hell just happened? What is that? Oh, there we go. Then we got alley-oop here. Let me get it paused. Come on. Come on, YouTube. Come on. Come on, YouTube. You can do this. You're gonna be fine. And Grizz FPV Chomper posts right now. Oh, Grizz did too. Oh wait, no, B-Man did. B-Man did. No, I already called it out. You guys are too late. You guys are too late. It's Grizz. He posted at 8:52. You fuckers. Too slow, friends. Too slow. A valiant attempt, though. You guys should all just join Patreon and go over there and go into the video collective and watch Chomper and B-Man's videos, because I'm sure they're good. Those guys are fucking rippers. Alright, so I'm going to play these, and I'm going to give you guys some copyright-free music so that I don't go to federal pound me in the ass jail. And I'll be back in a minute. Let me get the giveaways going. And you guys enjoy some of chat flying. First up at CiottiFPV, A Day at the Lake. right, boys and girls, let's get it on. Dropping the last link there to Grizz FPV practicing that Cinewhoop flying. The main part of Cinewhoop flying practice is just managing your altitude, and it's boring as hell, but you just have to do it. Like, you just have to put the time in to get your throttle control really dialed in, because that makes a huge difference. That's really like that's the thing for me, at least, that makes like really good cinematic footage stand out, is when the pilot, I can tell like if a pilot's been flying for 6 months, a year, 2 years, or 5 years just by their throttle control and the elevation control. The elevation bounce drives me absolutely nuts. It just looks so unprofessional, and unfortunately I can like see it a mile away, which is frustrating as hell. But we're doing giveaways, not talking about flying. First up is the Tiny Whoop and Toothpick tier. We've got an Eachine VTX03S. We've got a R3D Whoop 75mm frame, and this is the one for, oh, this is the pusher. This is the Redshifter's 75mm pusher, and then some of the accessories. I'm gonna cherry pick some of the nicer accessories for this, and then send those along with it. So we got a little VTX and a Redshifter's Whoop frame. Let's see who's gonna win that shit. Here we go. That's the wrong button. That's the right button. Let me scroll through. Where's the effing mouse pointer? I'm going to scroll through everybody real quick. You guys can rewind if you'd like to check that you're on here, but as long as you're active on Patreon, you're in here. And there is everybody. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Goat at the ready. Let's see who's going to win. I think it's going to be Sebastian Martinez. Oh, I'm getting good at calling that shit. Sebastian Martinez, congratulations. I don't know if you're watching, but I'm going to message you over on Instagram and send you some stuff. But first, I need to write your name down, because otherwise I'll have to rewatch the stream, and God, I'm not doing that. I can't look at my own stupid face. Astin, right? Yeah. Martinez. I'm probably gonna end up throwing another Redshifter's frame in with this, because I have a couple of them. So yeah, Sebastian, I'll throw another one of these Redshifter's frames in there for you when I'm cherry picking some of the stuff on there. Next up is the 3-inch micro brushless and Cinewhoop tier, and we've got 2 of these 4S 450s. This shape battery I'm no longer using. These are, I only cycled these like once, I think. Apex and Full Send 4S 450s. These are, for all intents and purposes, brand new. They're not even they're like hard as rocks. They're not puffy at all. And then a set of Beta FPV 1105 3800 kV motors. These are actually pretty smooth, man. Like, these should fly really nice. I don't have anything that would really, that an 1105 would work well, and these are also brand new. Yeah, I don't have anything that an 1105 would make sense on, because these are not really great for 3-inch tri-blade propellers. These are more for like a 2-inch quad blade, or maybe a 2.5-inch tri-blade. But I don't have any rigs like that at the moment, so these have got to go. And they have the plugs on them, which is really awesome. These would also work on on like one of those Beta 85s, or maybe even the 95. So yeah, let's see who's gonna win. Intents and porpoises. I like that way better. I'm fucking stealing the shit out of that. Here's the wheel. Here's all the people on it, going fast because you guys can rewind. But again, just go on Patreon and make sure that you're you're active. Where's the shuffle button? Why can't I find it? And winner has a name, and that name is Christopher Delks. Nope, FPV Republic. Oh, maybe. Oh, it is Christopher Delks. He's gonna tell me to re-roll it, so I'm gonna remove him, and I'm gonna click the goddamn thing again. Chris Delks is a friend of mine from New Jersey who has a tiny whoop, but that's it. And he just likes to support his homies. Propellant FPV, you have actually won. Congratulations, my man. I'm going to write your name down here. Propellant FPV. I'm going to hit you on Patreon and send you some stuff. Congratulations, my man. Next up, we've got the 5-inch tier. Speaking of glide frames, Jackalope. Watch, Jackalope's gonna win now. Which would actually kind of be perfect. Hey, when you buy a frame, buy 2. And then you have a full set of spare parts. Just, you know, food for thought. Yeah, 5-inch tier is gonna be a fresh... Smells like sex. Look, a Cinelog. Look, a Beta 85X that flies like a bag of shit. I want to actually talk about this in this live stream. Yeah, let's see who wins the glide frame. This is the wheel. These are the people on the wheel. This is the shuffle button. This is the name of the winner. Coming up, Carbon Cage says I can't access my Patreon. Am I still a patron? I am not sure, Carbon. I can look it up in a minute though. Matt McConnell, congratulations! You've won a glide frame. Carbon Cage, just do the password recovery. They'll shoot you an email. Matt McConnell, I'm gonna write your name down, hit you on Patreon, and send you the best frame in the world. McConnell. Awesome. Congrats, Matt. You have won Master Frame Race. Now we're gonna do the PayPal and Super Chat giveaway. And I've run out of stuff for that giveaway. Not fully run out, but partially run out of stuff. I need to buy some more stuff for these giveaways. So we're not going to do 5 and 10. We're going to do a little bit less this time. Jackalope says PP with a dollar signal. PP probably stands for PayPal. Norval Rogers just edited his pledge. Hey, Norval, sorry, I saw that a little bit too late. I don't think you got onto this. I don't think you got into this giveaway, but you'll get into the next couple. And if you remind me, I'll put you into next week's an extra time. And then Tyler DeWitt, thanks for becoming a patron, man. Much appreciated. Kyle Jarecki sent $10. For B-Man Super Chat giveaway entries from Jackalope. Wait, what's that mean? For B-Man Super Chat giveaway entries. So am I putting B-Man's name down on the wheel? Poop Puddle, what? No. So the Super Chat and PayPal giveaway. If you want to do, you can do a Super Chat. Hold off, wait, don't do anything yet. Let's do 4 and 8. We'll do $4 and $8. $4 to go on the wheel once. $8 to go on the wheel twice. If you don't want YouTube to take 30%, you can go to CiottiFPV.com and hit the PayPal button. And I've got my email open, so I'll see the PayPals come through. So, the 3 big things in this giveaway are going to be TweetFPV making you a set of his transmitter skateboard grip tape grips in whatever color you want for whatever transmitter you've got. Remy Tim is going to buy you one of my shirts from my Teespring store, which you can look at over on CiottiFPV.com and have it shipped directly to you. And also, it's going to be a digital copy of FPV Flight Dynamics by Christian Malika. So those are the three big things. And then I'm going to ship you a set of pre-production freestyle 3s, 2 sets of pre-production freestyle 4s, and a set of the 5.2 by 2.6s, and then a whole bunch of my stickers, including the ones that I have been too goddamn lazy to put up on Etsy so far. So you're going to get the exclusive brand new stickers, the new logo in crazy holographic sexiness, the Micro King Round Boy, the old 80s one, 80s holographic, the small old school logo holographic, and then the clear just other version of my logo. So yeah, bunch of stickers that I'll send out to you. Let's see who wins. Alley Oop with an $8 super chat. He's going on the wheel. He'll be the first one. And I can't possibly type someone's name, so I have to copy and paste it once and twice. Thank you, Alley Oop. Much appreciated. My name has been tagged a million times in the chat. Let me make sure I'm good. GemFan Hobby says, I need a logo. Who am I going to call? CMYK FPV. CMYK, you in here? You're in here. GemFan Hobby, CMYK, link up. Or else. JVFPV says, I need this, bro. Rig this sucker. I'll try my best, JV. ImpFPV says, that's too much glide. Oh, wait, no, you were talking about the glide frame. ImpFPV says, that's too much glide. JVFPV, I'm sure it's poop puddle. Frank Nicholas dropping the link to CiottiFPV.com. Thank you, Frank. Jackalope says, B-Man, my way of saying thanks for all the help. CiottiFPV put B-Man down twice. All right, cool. Putting B-Man on the wheel 2 times as instructed. Thanks, guys. That's cool of you, Jackalope. CMYKFPV? Okay, cool. Over on PayPal, I'll see that in a second. Bob Noxious says, the magnet installed in the same place where you put it, always forget it's there. Nice. Steady Eddie says, PayPal. JVFPV with $4.20 via Super Chat. The weed number. Thank you, JV. Let me get over into my PayPal, and we will keep this train rolling. Steven Steinbaker, the one and only CMYKFPV, sending the weed number as well. $4.20 he goes on the wheel, and he did it a second time. So I'm gonna put him on. There's just two $4.20 PayPals right in a row from CMYK. Edward Ashley with an $8 PayPal. He's going on the wheel 2 times. Thank you, brother. There it is. And we got a little bit of Coil Locker with a question as well. So let's knock that out. What motors would you recommend to replace the aerolites on the 250? I keep breaking them bitches. I'm Coil Locker on your Patreon, by the way. Thanks for being a patron, Aaron. I have the, I think the Hot 2004s, to be really honest, are the Axis motors. You can also get them in a really nice KV, which is 3700-ish, 3750 maybe. I think it's 3750, and then you can run them on 4S and still get a bunch of power. Throttle. You might have to limit them down a little bit, but that's good. You always want to get motors that are a little bit too high of a KV and then limit them down so that someday, if you need more, you just can do it instead of getting a whole new set of motors. John Goodwin with an $8 super chat. He's going on the wheel 2 times. Great question, Coil Locker. Grizz actually moved from the aerolites to the Axis 2004s. And so far, he thinks that the, I think it's still a little too early to tell, but he thinks so far that the Axis motors are a little bit more durable. The Brother Hobby VY motors, I would definitely not recommend. They're so fragile that you don't even have to crash the goddamn things. The bells just fly off the fucking motor shaft. So definitely don't get Brother Hobby. I mean, a lot of us are kind of boycotting Brother Hobby at the moment anyway because they did some shitty shit with Kebab, but we won't get into that. This DJ Life, which is Halfboard, sent $10, 8 for the giveaway, 2 for the car. Thank you, brother. Putting you on the wheel 2 times. And kicking the gear fund up to 59. Thank you, thank you. We've got a little bit of Frank Nicholas. He sends $21, 8 for the wheel, 13 for the Mazda 2 fund. Thank you, Frank. Very cool of you. Let's get you on the wheel first. Once and twice. And then we're going to put 13 on here. Oh, maths. Oh, maths. It would be 60, and then it would be 73, but then 72. Got it. Got it. I can do maths. What do you think? How you like me now, math teachers that didn't like... I was actually fine at math. It's unbelievable how, like, you just forget math. Like, it's not just me, I'm sure. Do you guys just, like, not know how to do math anymore? I mean, it, like, you know, go figure. You don't do something for a while, and you use a calculator and a crutch for a while. Hey, I think I have everybody. Has anybody PayPal'd me that's not on the wheel yet? I might not have carried the 3. I don't know. It was at a 9. It was at a 9, and then it was a... I did it right. Fuck you. License to drive with a 3-pound Super Chatty says, put spin again on the wheel. Oh, the spin again game has begun. Alright, spin again is... No. I highlighted the wrong spot. Spin again. Thank you, License. Much appreciated. If you've done the PayPal thing and you're not up on the wheel, do me a favor and tag me in the chat and say something. Because I'm going to spin this motherfucker in a minute. And somebody's going to win some things. Because that's how it works. Because that's how the world works. Matthew McConnell sent $25 Mazda plus 1 wheel. Thank you, Matt. Oh, wow. What's happening down here? Why did that copy? Oh, I see what happened. All right, we're good. Matthew, you're on the wheel. So it's, so then that's 21 for the Mazda Gear Fund. Oh my God, more math. 7, 8, 9, 9, and 3. That was easy math. Oh God, the slash got in there. What do I do? Got it. Can't even see it because it's on a white, because it's white on white. Just like my ex-wife. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Oh shit. Shy Kameen sent $8. He's going on the wheel 2 times. Thank you, Shy. There we go. Once and twice. Oh my God, there's all the orange in the chat. Remy Tim says, what are you talking about? I do math all the time. Lit Sculpture says, done it. JVFPV says, take me off. I'm not old enough to gamble. Marcel says, get off top chat. Oh, fuck. I'm on top chat. Oh, my God. I never forget to change it to live chat. Oh, shit. Who was I? Oh, shit. Did I miss anybody? Fuck. Wow, I haven't... Too many goddamn things that streamers have to remember. I swear to God. Did I miss anything or anybody? Oh God, David John. No, I got David Johnson on here. Cool. License to drive is on here. How did you know, Marcel? Did you see it when I switched screens, or did you type something to me and I didn't read it? Alley-oop says David Johnson $4. Got you on there, I think. Right? Yes, got it. Jester says, what are you giving away? It's a whole bunch of stuff. A bunch of GemFan props, a bunch of my stickers, digital copy of FPV Flight Dynamics, set of 2Fiddy FPV controller transmitter grips, and one of my t-shirts provided by Remy Tim, who is the FPV mentor, fpvmentor.com. If you've got technical questions, or if you're trying to get somebody into the hobby, or you just want one-on-one, you just want to talk one-on-one FPV with somebody, he can definitely help you out. He's really killing it. Kaiser Soze says, PayPal. Kaiser, do I have you up here? CMYK FPV says orange. Orange what? Orange, you glad? I don't know what you mean by orange. Ooh, Kaiser Soze says I PayPal ×2. Kaiser, do I have you on here? Kaiser, are you shy coming on PayPal? Bob Noxious says, I'm a new user. Yep. Cool. It looks like Kaiser Soze is the only one that might need to go on the wheel that isn't currently on the wheel. So Kaiser, tag me. Here, I'm going to scroll up and down. If you don't see yourself, I'm just going to copy and paste you. Sometimes the PayPal emails don't come through for a fucking fortnight. And a used flashlight crate. Not yet. I have been living alone for a while. Alright, cool. So as soon as Kaiser drops a chat comment, I just look over and I see this broken ass fucking phone screen. Ugh! God, it didn't even make it a fucking week. I think it did make it a week. It didn't even make it 2 weeks though. Son of a bitch. And now like all I want to do is pick at the fucking... It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just gonna put Kaiser on the wheel twice because I'm willing to bet that yeah, I don't know. Kaiser's going on the wheel 2 times. There we go. And let's roll this motherfucker to see who wins a whole bunch of stuff from all around the country. Ready, fools? We are good. CiottiFPV. Yes. So I think I did the right thing. Well, no. The goddamn chat delay. Said that. So it says 11:27 on the timestamp. License to Drive says I could bang nails into wood with the screen on my phone. They did so in the promo video. Yeah, you know, like, what the come on. Oh, shuffle. Good idea. Hitting the shuffle button a whole bunch of times, kind of hoping that Kaiser Soze will type into the chat again, whether or not I now have him on here 4 times or just 2 times. Look how many times I'm hitting the shuffle button, guys. It's going to be so fucking random. It's going to be more random than it's ever been before. Alright, ready? I'm just going to do it. It's fine. 3, 2... Random AF, Quad Doc says. Let's get it. If Kaiser wins, we can all shame him. He's not going to win anyway. CMYK FPV is going to win. He just barely got it from David Johnson. CMYK, congratulations, brother. You have won a whole bunch of things. I got to think about what I want to ship you. I have your address. You're good to go. You don't have to message me, but you do have to message Remy Tim and... TweetFPV. TweetFPV@gmail.com. FPVmentor.com. Scroll to the bottom and there's an email button. CMYKFPV. Again, if you guys need graphic design done, CMYKFPV is the man. I think he's still taking... CMYK, make sure you let me know if you get too busy and you're not taking commissions, because I don't want to be pimping you out when you're totally booked up. There it is. Kaiser Soze says take me off. That's okay. You didn't win anyway, brother. Sorry. Cool. CMYK, I'm gonna send you some stuff, and I'll probably find a couple other things to send you for funsies. Thanks for playing, everybody. You guys are the goddamn best. Let's get the rest of this work done, hopefully, on the 250, and then I can start beating the living shit out of it. What do you think of that? Make like an edit or two. Make a RunCam hybrid edit. I've been dying to do that, and I really like the way that the 250 flies on the 3.5-inch props. It's a really balanced, really, yeah, it just feels good. It's the closest micro that I've ever built to the flight feel of a 5-inch rig. And that just, for me at least, that just feels like magic. Hey, really quickly, let's talk about this thing. I need a hand from you guys. So let me take a step back. So when the Insta360 Go 2, the second one shows back up here, I don't think I'm gonna fly that on the ripsqueaks. I maybe just like once or twice, but I'm not gonna freestyle with that camera. It's just not durable. I can't imagine a world where that camera is gonna be super durable. So if I ever fly it on the ripsqueak, it's gonna be for like cinematic-y kind of stuff. I just don't think that's a freestyle camera solution. So I think its main gig is going to be for like cinematic-y stuff, and I'm really excited. So this is a 75mm tiny whoop with these prototype T-Motor 0803 22,000 kV motors that they sent me, which are fucking rad. This thing carries the Insta360 Go 1, which is 18 grams, around staggeringly well. Like it flies really well with that payload. So with the 26 gram Insta360 Go 2, this should still carry it around. It's not going to be as good, but so basically with the so when I put the Go 1 on the 65mm, the smaller tiny whoop, it flies okay, but it doesn't fly great. I take that 18 gram camera and I put it on this bigger 75mm whoop, and it flies great. When I put the heavier Insta360 Go 2 on this rig, it's gonna fly okay. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be. I have a feeling it's gonna be just like the 65mm motor-to-motor whoop with the Go 1. But what I want is a rig to carry the Go 2 that's gonna fly great. And what I think that, I mean, so, you know, we go from 65 motor to motor, which is a 1.2 inch prop on the 65mm whoop, up to a 1.6 inch propeller on the 75mm motor to motor whoop. The next step up is a 2-inch prop whoop. But this Beta 85X flies like a pile of fucking shit. It's horrible. It's horrible. Which really pisses me off because this build took me forever. This is I think the most frustrating build I've ever done. Just the layout of the frame and the way that the whoop chassis sits in here, it's just terrible. There's no access to anything. Everything is a bitch to solder and wire and like fucking nightmare. I think, here's what I think the problem is. So the motors that I have on here are nice and smooth, and they're well balanced. The propellers are well balanced. I've checked all that. The build is sound. The frame is shockingly strong. The AIO is properly like soft mounted and everything. Although, you know what? Let me try one more thing. So yeah, I put a couple hours into this rig today. I finished this build up a long time ago, and it flew horrible. And I just put it on the shelf, and I just didn't think about it. But for whatever reason, the reason is I've been cleaning up the room here a little bit. I found this, and I was like, let me do something with this. And it's a good time, too, because the Go 2 is coming back. So, yeah. I'll tell you what I think the problem is. As we've talked... Okay, so race car aerodynamics teach you... And I think this is all aero, but I want to put that... I want to preface it with race car aerodynamics because I do know something about race car aerodynamics. I know much less about aircraft aerodynamics. But air is air. race car aerodynamics has taught me that the low pressure zone is more important than the high pressure zone. In a race car's case, imagine this is the rear wing on a race car. The race car is going this way, and this is the rear wing. So the wind hits it and pushes down. What's actually happening, more so than the air hitting it and pushing it down, what's actually happening is a low pressure zone is happening under the wing, and the wing is actually being pulled down harder than it's being pushed down. On an airplane wing, basically the reverse is happening. It sits up like this, it's going this way. It sits up like this. Some of the air hits it and pushes it up, but what's really happening is that there's a low pressure zone up here sucking it up. So now when we apply that same, and the reason that I know that the low pressure zone is more important than the high pressure zone from motorsport aero is that, again, direction of travel is this way, the rear wing, the air comes and pushes it down, but really there's a low pressure zone here that pulls the air down. One of the things that you can do that's really effective in getting more efficiency and more downforce from the rear wing on a race car is to mount it from the top. It's called a swan neck mount. So the rear window of the car is here. You run a mount off the rear window and you swan neck mount the rear wing like this, so that the standoffs that are holding the wing up are on the top in the high pressure zone. The more normal way that you've seen a million times to mount a wing on a race car is to undermount it like this on the trunk, right? But then you've got these two standoffs in the low pressure zone, and that's less efficient than having the swan neck mount in the high pressure zone. All right. I assume that airplane wings work the same way. Why the fuck wouldn't they, right? So when you look at a pusher, right? So think about it with our, we have a bunch of little wings on ours, and when our wings spin around, they create a low pressure zone on top, and they create a high pressure zone on bottom. So when you look at these pusher rigs and you think about that, right? Low pressure zone on top, which is important, high pressure zone on the bottom, which is a little bit less important. On a pusher rig, the high pressure zone is free. It's got nothing but, nice clean air. Whereas the low pressure zone is chock full of shit, son. You're gonna be a shitty ass motherfucker, son. If anybody knows what that's from, I'll actually be really impressed. So yeah, high pressure zone underneath with no obstructions, low pressure zone on top with more bullshit in the way than anything ever. And you also want to remember that these are pulling in air in like a cone. Like it doesn't just pull a straight column of air down. It pulls air in from here, 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 from here. It pulls it in like a cone shape. So out here is fine, but look at all this bullshit. Like it's just, there's all this shit in the way that's going to create all kinds of turbulence in the low pressure zone. On top of that, this rig has a small 2-inch propeller. So like, it's like half the fucking, like, look at how much obstruction there is on each one of these, right? Like on each one of these, prop discs, you got this in the way, this in the way, this is in the way, there's this, there's that. Like, it feels like with these little 2-inch propellers that damn near half of the low pressure zone has bullshit in the way, creating turbulence, you know what I mean? And that's exactly how this thing flies. This thing has like all these big like movements that's going that like are not like, they're not PID loop related, they're not filter related. I've tried aggressive PIDs, I've tried loose PIDs, I've tried aggressive filters, I've tried lots of filtering, and I can get it to fly like okay, but it never flies good. It never flies good, which when I think about it in these terms makes a lot of sense, right? You've got like a horrible aerodynamic situation, and that's going to cause all kinds of like random bullshit going on at different throttle openings, right? At like 26% throttle, it's going to be more turbulent here, but then at 27%, for whatever reason, it'll be more turbulent here. At 30%, maybe it'll make a little vortex up here because of some weird, right? And that's how it flies, like different throttle positions, it'll just like act fucking really weird. So I need to find a 2-inch propellered frame that'll carry an Insta360 Go. So it's got to be like a cinematic-ish frame like this, but I gotta try. I think the key is going to be to find something that doesn't have so much goddamn obstruction going on. I searched around a little bit for 2-inch frames, and there aren't many 2-inch frames like full stop in existence right now. Here's the other thing, right? Beta FPV actually sent me this 95X that I haven't done a build on yet. I have a feeling that there are now, like, I couldn't find any 2-inch cinematic frames. They're all 2.5-inch and 3-inch now. And I think this bullshit is why. Like, I think when you go up to a bigger propeller, you can see it clear as day, right? Like, look at all this unobstructed area, right? Whereas, look at that. What a difference. Right? So I think they've all moved up to 2.5-inch, but 2.5-inch is too goddamn big for an Insta360 Go 2. That's silly. I would really rather it be... Also, I'm being very lazy, and I don't want to rip this build apart and put it in this 95 frame, because then I have to solder these motor leads, and like... I just don't want to solder the motors up. But also, like, there's no reason for 2.5. If I can find a good 2-inch frame, also I want to keep the weight down. That is the truth. That is a valid reason. I want the weight to be as low as possible on the build. And these start getting kind of heavy. These 2.5. I mean, they've got plenty of power, but like for flying really accurately inside, if you can save a gram, it's going to make a difference. So, yeah, I'm on the hunt for a 2-inch cinematic style frame. 661 says flip it over. That was my thought initially. I actually have one. This is for a giveaway, but so this is exactly that. This is basically the same rig, but as a puller. The problem is the ducts come into view. So something that I've noticed with this 75 over the 65 Tiny Whoop is that even going from 65 to 75, the front of these ducts, or the guards, whatever the hell you want to call it, come into view on the Insta360 Go 1 a little bit more often than I'd like. It's basically when you slow down, right? Like when you're nose down, it's fine. But when you slow down, the ducts come up and the stabilization will drop down, and you'll see the ducts in the bottom of the frame. So with an even bigger frame, that effect is going to be even worse, right? Which is kind of why I need a cinematic frame, a Cinewhoop frame almost, because it pushes the camera forward, you know what I mean? So that there's no... And I mean, that's why everybody went to these upside down Tiny Whoop frames, is because if you think about the camera's field of view, right, it keeps see how the bottom of the field of view drops off perfectly with the support of the duct, right? So even though these frames fly like shit, it's a necessary evil. But yeah, I think what I just need to find is a frame like this that just has less obstructions going on. You know what I would really kind of like? That would be too heavy, wouldn't it? The Freibot style, it would be too heavy. Never mind. what I was gonna say is the Freibot style frame where it's carbon top, carbon bottom with the loops built in. But yeah, those frames get awful heavy. So yeah, I don't know. But I was pretty shocked to see how few 2-inch frames there were. Ruby Tim says, you heard it here first, folks. Air is air, not certified in anything. JVFPV says, except when air is poop. 661 says, I've never been 100% happy with my 85X either. No matter what I do, the motors wind up on dives. I mean, that's pretty true about anything with prop guards or prop ducts. I've yet to fly literally any rig with prop guards or prop ducts that would do a dive without having the motors wind up. I've always just assumed it's just a horrendous aerodynamic situation. And a dive is a pretty challenging aerodynamic situation as it is, but then when you put any kind of a guard or a duct outside the tip of the propeller, it's like, forget it, man. You've got such weird turbulence being created by that, especially when it's like, you know, when it's nose down in this like very strange orientation, right? You've got like this air hitting it and getting directed this way, and like it's just kind of a mess. Doc says the Beta 95 is so much better than the 85. Think the 2.5-inch props just hits that magic thrust numbers, flies that much better. I don't think it's thrust related, to be honest with you, Doc, because this has a fuckload of power. This is on 1204 8400 kV motors. And I've been running this on 3S and 4S. On 4S, I chopped the power down a little bit because it's just chaos at 100% on 4S. But yeah, this has plenty of power, but it still does this. When you try to fly it slowly, it does all this nonsense. If you put the nose down and fly it fast, it's fine. But like, kind of anything's fine when you put the nose down and start hauling ass. It's when you try to fly this thing slow that like you start to feel, you can almost feel it as you're flying it. You can just feel this like weird aerodynamic bullshit going on. And the other problem is efficiency. I forgot to mention this. This is the other reason why I'm pretty sure that it's just got too much obstruction, because the efficiency on this is horrible, like noticeably worse. That is partially because it's on a 2-inch propeller. 2-inch propellers are not as efficient as 2.5-inch or 3-inch, of course. But yeah, this should have a longer runtime. This is only giving me like 2 minutes and 20 seconds, 2 minutes and 10 seconds on a 3S 450, on like a fresh 3S 450, and it doesn't give much more than that on a 4S 450. And I mean, it's not that heavy, and it's carrying an 18-gram camera, so I mean, there's really no reason. And you can hear it. Like, you can hear it. It's just like, ah! It makes the most awful fucking noise. You can just feel that it's like, it's just not happy. It's not happy to be in the air. It's just, ugh. It's gross. Sorry, Beta FPV. I don't know. I appreciate you guys sending me this 85 frame and all, and I am gonna build it. But I don't know. Smooth and Groovin says, how would you go about building the ultimate proximity basher newbie drone mosquito build? None of the toothpick-ish style builds are gonna be bashers ever, because the camera hits the ground a lot, as do the motors and the motor bells. Just the shape of the frame doesn't crash well. When they're nice and light, it's a little bit better. If you run the best thing that you can possibly do, the only thing that you can really do with a toothpick to make it crash better is to run a tri-blade instead of a bi-blade. So basically, for any toothpick build, bump the motor size up so that you have enough oomph to control a 3-blade instead of a 2-blade, because they're all spec'd out to fly bi-blade props. That's going to do more for durability than anything else that you can really do. Anything else that you can try to do on a toothpick style build to actually make the durability better is kind of a waste of time. But a 3-blade prop is going to do more, is actually going to make it more durable. The reason being that a bi-blade propeller, when the motor hits the ground, the propeller will move out of the way. When the propeller hits the ground, it'll swing out of the way, and then the motor bell will smack into the concrete and bend the motor bell. Whereas with a tri-blade prop, there's always, the propellers are always going to hit the ground before the motor bell. The only time the motor bell is going to hit the ground is if the two propellers bend all the way down far enough, if you put enough energy into it. So yeah, typically with a tri-blade prop, you won't have your motor bell hit the ground unless it's a really hard bang. That's what she said. Bob Noxious says, gotta go later, CiottiFPV and Collective. 661 says, flip it over. 661 says, my pusher 85 still flies like crap. Cinerace 20 from HGLRC. Oof. It's from HGLRC. Oof. You guys know how I feel about them. But I won't be a prick. All right, leaving that open. I'll check that out tonight. Anybody else have any suggestions? Steady Eddie says, smoke machine and high-speed camera for Halloween to see the airflow. That'd be fun. I think with something this small, you could do that with like one of those box mod vapes, probably. And then the phones, all of our phones have like 240 frame per second slow motion mode. So we'd probably do that. I don't have any friends that vape though. But I would love to see somebody do that. That'd be pretty cool. CiottiFPV says, you played my video and I broke 50 subscribers. Thanks, Collective. You guys rock. Nice. Very cool. Love that, Scott. You guys are the best. More people go subscribe to Scott or I'm going to stab you. 661 says, I have 1204 7250s on my 85X. Nice, 661. It's the right motor. Like this motor, like if I put this electronics package into a normal frame, or if I did this with it, it would fly good. But yeah, there'd be props in view. There'd be plops in view, guys. Plops. License to Drive says, if this link works for you, check out my old ET125 Cam Insta360 Go Haku link. Look at that. Jesus. So that's on a King Kong 2.8-inch propeller on some Sky... I forget the name of the company that made these blue and silver motors. Sky Zone? No, that's not it. That's a cool looking build. I like that. This is a cool little 3D printed piece to put this... So yeah, I mean, this is what you would have to do with a puller style frame in order to get the guards out of view. That's a cool rig. That's a cool looking rig. It's a little too big. These are, yeah, like I said, these are 2.8-inch King Kong LDARC props. So this camera location on a 2-inch rig would so there's a game that you have to kind of play with these two, right? If you push the camera, so I'm sure that flew great because those 2.8-inch props were amazing and those motors are nuts. Sunny Sky, that's who makes those motors. I remember those motors. They made all the power in the world. So this setup from License to Drive made a shitload of power, which is probably why it flew good. It made enough power to be able to have the Insta360 Go so far forward, right? Like this is really far forward. There's a little bit of a game that you play where you want to push it forward just enough to clear so that the HD doesn't catch the ducts, but not too much, because the farther forward you push it, the more two things happen. It gets more nose heavy, but that's easy to fix. You just shift the battery back farther, right, to balance the CG out. But the problem is you're spreading weight out. The more you have to do that, the more you're spreading the weight out on the pitch axis, which is not good. You want the weight as centered as possible. So with a 2-inch rig, we would probably need to pull that Insta360 Go mount back a little bit, because a 2-inch is not going to make nearly as much power as that. It's one of the things that I learned with the which rig was it? It was when I was playing around with the tiny whoops on the red shifters frames. There was a little extension piece to push the Insta360 Go forward farther, and when I put that on, the rig started flying horrible because the front motors were like fucking to try to keep the, because the front motors had so much weight on them. So yeah, but that's a cool looking setup license. I like that a lot. I like that a fucking lot. What else? JVFPV says, where can I find your address to mail you stuff? Just message me, JVFPV, CiottiFPV everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, all the spots. Steady Eddie FPV says, Gep RC has some good ducted 2-inch frames. Might be worth a look. Gep RC. I don't know why I didn't just, like, go to these. Well, I mean, a lot of them don't have websites, but, yeah, Gep RC and then frames, 2-inch. Cool, good call. I was just looking on, like, I was just on, Words, Pyrodrone, and GetFPV and Race Day Quads. I didn't think to look at the actual manufacturer pages because I'm dumb. Smooth and Groovin with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you, brother, for the support. Much appreciated. Mavic Havoc with a $5 super chat. He says, are all 5-inch props interchangeable? They used to be, but not anymore because now there are T-mount 5-inch props. I don't think that's what you were asking, though. All T-mount 5-inch props are interchangeable with all other 5-inch T-mount props. All M5 mount standard 5-inch props are interchangeable with one another. Any rules on pitch and KV? Rather confused by all the options. Do this, Mavic Havoc. Get yourself a few sets of GemFan 5143 threes, 51433. Those are, at the moment, the most popular and regarded by many as the best 5-inch propeller. They're very lightweight. They're good. They have good durability, not great durability, but good durability. With lightweight comes less durability. So they're not the lightest weight because the lightest weight would be the least durable, and we don't want that. But they're sort of in the middle ground. Try them out. You'll probably love them. They're what most people fly nowadays. If you don't love them, you'll figure out why you don't love them. They're too pitchy, they're not pitchy enough, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, just do that, but you'll probably love them. Chris Croft says, I worry about you stabbing me when I come to Australia. Talentless FPV says, for a vape thingo, a brushed ESC, thin steel wire, and the contacts glycerin, it should make good vapor. That'd be funny. Hook up a quad ESC, individual ESC up to make your own vape. That'd be fun. License to Drive says the ET125 is great. Was that the HGLRC one? No, it's not. ET125, cool. Here's a third option. Where the hell did that comment go? There it is. From License to Drive. ET125 is a great quad. When I take the guards off to put Avan minis on, punches that so quick on 2S. Nice. ET125. Opening that up in another tab. King Kong. Very cool. All right, good deal. Kaiser Soze with a $7 super chat. Thanks for dropping all that knowledge. Mazda Fund. You got it, my man. Thank you for the support. 3 + 7 = 2,400. It's like the weed number, but backwards, with some other numbers added in and some of the other numbers mixed up. Let's get back to this. Let's solder some motors on. So yeah, that's you guys about the about this 2-inch rig. It really fucking chaps my ass. I don't know, I just wanted to say that. No, it really chaps my ass that I put so much time into this build, and it was so hard to build. And now it just doesn't fly well, man. It just does not fly properly. But, you know, this was like the first generation of of these style of rigs. Hey, it's midnight. So, you know, here's, hold on, we'll celebrate. I'm gonna give you some of this cloudy footage to watch. Be right back. Be right back, be right back. Little move. Oh, for fuck's sakes. That's no. This one. It's a good little move. Ready? And up we go. Nope. And up we go. Ah. Oh. Hey. Ah. Okay. You guys realize, like, there was a whole bunch of years in all of our lives that we didn't fly these things? Like, there's nothing better. It was all us. I was actually standing right in that little group of soft targets there, 661. Yeah, like, we didn't fly before we flew. That's terrible. What a fucking waste. What a waste of, like, 35 years of my life not flying FPV. Dalton's FPV says, yeah, unfortunately it seems like the only viable format that can put the cam far forward enough. Yeah, that's the... Yeah, totally, Dauntless. Yeah, it's... Yeah, I don't know. This will be good, though. I'm looking forward to, like, kind of digging into this a little bit and learning what I can learn and just, yeah, try... I mean, basically what I'm going to embark on here is like, trying to find the lightest way to fly the Insta360 Go 2. So, we'll see. Navic Havoc says, assuming you bought up all the purple props you mentioned, 5143.3s, you mean? I'm actually sponsored by GemFan. So I've got an ass load of, when they sent me my sponsor box, most of it was 5143.3, so I have enough of those to kind of last me forever. I'm a lucky boy. B-Man says, that was super philosophical. We didn't fly before we flew, yeah, right? Yeah, it's funny, Patrick has said it to me a couple times, like, like, man, we got the best fucking hobby. Like, it's really true, man, like, fuck. Like, sometimes when I'm watching footage, it's like, Jesus, like, there's just nothing like it. There's nothing like this. There's nothing that's even remotely close to what we do. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, this is just everything. It is what we do, for me at least, is just everything. And like I have to like call on that big dick energy of FPV right there, more often than I'd like, because like I don't know, it's all fucking weird trying to do this full time, and like it's kind of scary and like I don't know, but yeah, I can like call on that. That's what makes me. That's what makes it worth it. That's what makes the sacrifices and the like. Yeah, that's what makes it worth it. So, yeah. We're just lucky, man. We're lucky to have found this hobby. Some hobbies are like great because of the community, which this hobby certainly is. But FPV is also great. On top of that, because we fly through the fucking air. Like, it's like cheating, you know? It's like the aliens come down and they're like, oh, so these strange bipeds have like a job, but then they have a thing that they do for fun. Oh, I wonder what the most fun thing that they could do is. Oh, well, these guys fly while totally safe, and the people that do it are awesome. Oh, so that must be it then. And then they would abduct a few of us, and I would get back on the spaceship and be like, hey guys. License to Drive says, I started doing FPV 16 years ago with RC cars, no fat shark, all the video sunglasses with a security camera gear. That's super cool, License. Nice. 661 says, first real FPV experience, I was hooked for life. That brushed 65mm one I swoop changed my life. Yeah, it's really funny. The first time you see it through the goggles is like a moment, but then like the first time you fly it in the goggles, that's another moment. Hobby found me and made it his bitch, JVFPV says. Never knew I was submissive. Family Guyver says, the birds and hawks were extremely jealous of me. Yeah, I mean, there's so many reasons, right? Like, there's so many reasons. So fucking many reasons that FPV is just the perfect goddamn hobby. Ugh. It just, yeah. Yeah, it's nice to be able to, like, remind myself of that. Like, I was really into photography, and photography is really a very fun hobby, and there are some really cool people. But, like, I never felt like this with that. Maybe I felt like this with motorsport for a little while. I don't know. But the problem with motorsport is it's so fucking expensive. Definitely didn't feel like this with airsoft. Airsoft was a huge fucking pain in the ass, and the community of people is not great. Yeah, and that's the problem with motorsports too. Is there's more assholes than I would like, because of the fact that it requires money. With money come people that have money, and a lot of times those people have fucking egos that just won't quit. And that spoils it for me to some extent. But, I mean, you can always find cool people within a hobby. Alright, so I forgot to turn on the soldering iron, so let's give that a second to heat up. While I'm waiting, I am going to get the next motor here trimmed up. So I like to get this right. You don't have to. I go a little overboard, but it takes like 1 extra second to screw 1 or 2 by finger of the little motor screws in, so that the motor base sits in the exact right spot, and then you can cut them while the wires are like on the pads here, and that gives you pretty much like the perfect fucking length, so that you don't have that annoying little bit of like extra wire hanging off the bottom. But what I do is I'll push the wires down a little bit and then angle them up and over, and it just gives it like a millimeter of extra wire, which is kind of nice. It's kind of nice for it just to have the tiniest little bit of extra, so that this wire will just kind of sit flat. You can just push that wire down and it's done. Okay. What? Oh, it's stuck on there, right. CiottiFPV's 47, just started flying in March, 46 years wasted. I love this hobby and I love the people, yeah. Yeah, man. Hell yeah. Remy Tim likes the idea of flying on a 6th gravity planet. Mad hang time. I actually, you know, one of the speaking of hang time is like the thing that I'm chasing with all of these Ripsqueak builds and this 250 build actually. For whatever reason, the glides at like 605-ish grams on a 5-inch or 5.1 or even 4.9-inch propeller, for whatever reason, that's like my favorite amount of hang time. And yeah, that's what I'm like hunting with all these micros. That's what I've always been hunting with these micros, is like how to get that hang time. So yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, Dan, because if I was on a 6th gravity planet, I would just build the quad 6 times heavier so that we would have the same hang time. What the fuck is that? How did that get in there? I don't even know what that is. So we'd have the same hang time as here on Earth. I love our hang time. I'd put a fucking car battery in the goddamn thing. Actually, I guess what you could do at that point is just make the motors out of like... No, you would still need the response... Or would you? I don't know. I was going to say, just make the fucking thing invincible, right? You have all the weight in the world to make it invincible. But, like... I don't think you can make an invincible motor, because if you make the motor out of like CNC, it's going to be heavy, right? And the response time is going to go to shit. But maybe with 1/6 gravity, the response time wouldn't need to be as good? I don't think so, though. It's one of the frustrating things is that our motor durability is tied directly to how much flight performance we want. The lighter weight and more fragile the motor, the better the flight performance. And, you know, we get to see like a 1% difference in that in the motors that we have available to us, you know, that we can purchase. But the, you know, these motor manufacturers, like they could make our motors out of solid CNC and they'd be real durable. You know, like they could make our motors in way different formats to be way more durable, but in theory, with the way that they're currently being made is the best mix of lightweight, affordability, all these things, right? Know what I'm saying? Do you guys ever know what I'm talking about, or am I just off on fucking planet Zoltar all alone? Like, when I say, you know what I'm saying to you guys, like, is there ever a time where you're like, no, I have no fucking idea what you're talking about, you goddamn lunatic? Or are you always with me? Please lie and make me feel better if the answer is no. You never know what I'm talking about. Yoink! What a nice little shiny ball! Hello, shiny ball! What the fuck was that? Alright, I love soldering motors onto race wires. I gotta be honest, it is like the easiest little thing to solder, and the results that you get if you just like take 3 seconds to do it instead of 2 are so goddamn nice. The couple of times that I've had to do this while out flying, oh, it's so worth it. It makes I mean, partially, you know, I'm like forcing myself to be like, yes, this is why I took the extra fucking hour to put race wires on this goddamn rig. But also, like, it is really nice. Like, there is a moment of like, oh, okay. Because you just do it right here. Like, it's no big fucking deal. You just, like, yoink. And you do it right on the arm. You're not fucking all up on the frame. You're not, like... you're not fighting with, you know, wires that have been, like, chopped up by the goddamn propellers and shit like that. Like, it is nice. I gotta be honest. I have thought... Because it does take time. I have thought of, like, stopping with the race LEDs and the race wires. Because it would definitely speed builds up. And I do have a lot of builds to get done. And there will be builds that I skip it on. But, like, for the rigs that I fly, I am going to keep doing it. Although, at this point, I've done it on pretty much every single one of my rigs. So, like, once it's done, like, you're good to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, once it's done on a rig, like, it's good. That rig might switch to a different frame, or you might switch the motors out. But, like, you know, the race wires are just kind of there. So, yeah, it's kind of nice. You're sort of paying it forward, I guess, right? Is that what pay it forward means? Motherfucker, I mean, come on. Like, yeah, I know how to solder, but, like, I'm not even really paying attention. And I'm just, like, kind of blasting through this. And, like, look at that shit. You can't tell me that doesn't make you want to just fucking jerk off in the corner for, like, an hour and a half. Come on. Come beat your meat with me. Beat your meat to that, friends. What the fuck? Where the hell? What? It's getting worse, isn't it? Like, it's getting... Whoa! Look at all the orange in the chat. What the fuck? It's getting worse, isn't it? Like, I'm getting more and more crazy, right? Like, you can tell, right? Quad Dog says you should, you would good video for 1/6 gravity orbit that bitch. Mavic Havoc says, what does 51433 stand for? 5.1 inch, 43 pitch, 3 blades. Sort of, Mavic Havoc. Yes, you're correct. That's the sequence of the numbers. Unfortunately, a year or two ago, the prop manufacturers basically started lying, in a way, with those numbers. So, right now, today, sitting here, that 51-43-3 prop, it's actually a 36 pitch, not a 43 pitch. I don't know. I don't know why they're doing it. But, yeah. That's the way it should be. And so help me God, if at some point the prop naming convention doesn't go back to... What happened was we had a whole bunch of 43 pitch propellers. They were really popular. Propeller design changed a little bit in a way that they could make a lower pitch prop that performed pretty much identical to the previous 43 pitch props. So the GemFan 51-43-3s perform just like a 5.1 inch 4.3 pitch 3-blade propeller would. 2 years ago, basically. I can't talk about it without getting upset. It's just like, why do I have to have this conversation? What? Why? And this is by no means a bash on GemFan. They're just, everybody's doing it now. It's not just them. But the important thing is that you were absolutely correct with your assumption that those were what the numbers stood for. And the pitch is just the angle of the blade. This is 0 pitch, 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree, 4 degree, blah, 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 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 pitch. Vertical would be 90 pitch, horizontal would be 0 pitch. The pitch doesn't tell the whole tale, though, and that's why this whole thing has begun. There are many more specs about a propeller that affect the amount of power that it makes. So, yeah. That's why this whole shenanigans has begun. Because what the pitch actually is, the pitch is it's like a distance or an amount of fluid that the propeller will move in one rotation. Actually, I think it's the distance traveled, the distance that the pitch would travel in a fluid, in a non-compressible fluid, in one rotation. So, yeah, it's confusing. It's really strange. But here's the real truth. Propellers are very cheap, and they have the biggest impact on performance out of anything you can do. So I almost like that it's a complete nightmare, because what that means is we all need to just buy 1 or 2 sets of like every propeller, and just test them out and have fun testing them out and try. And it's also a really good it's really good practice to test propellers, because it forces you to pay attention to the characteristics that make one propeller different from another. And that's really good practice as a pilot. Like, that's a really good skill to have to work on. Because it prevents you from just ripping balls the whole time that you fly, and it makes you actually think a little bit. And, like, that's a good thing, because it's so much fucking fun to just rip balls. It's nice to be, like, brought back to earth. See what I did there? And yeah, to have to turn on your brain a little bit. Because, yeah, it definitely makes you a better pilot to be able to figure that kind of shit out. And just think about flying from a little bit of a different... I was going to say from a different standpoint, but I don't know if that's really what I'm trying to say. I think you guys know what I'm saying. Ah, fuck. Ruby Tim says, you don't need to make it invincible. It's not going to crash hard if it falls at 1/6 speed. That's true. We'd be doing shit like inverted thrust, which I really like to do, but it's really tough. Ruby Tim says, what? No, I don't even listen to you. License to Drive says, Zoltar, I wish that that wish machine Tom Hanks used in The Big. Yep, that's the one. Dauntless says, no ideas what you're talking about, but that's the case with most people. Vocal cords for me. Man, I'm way behind on chat. CMYK says, makes field repairs a breeze. Oh, I'm not that far behind. Family Giver says, LEDs are like new rims on Miata. Yeah, pretty much. Frank Nicholas says, gravity is not the same as air density. Gravity pulls up and down. Air density allows the props to pulse up. Very, very true. Matthew Vega says, 1/6 gravity wouldn't reduce the amount of energy dissipated in a crash, making the quad 6 times heavier would make quad blow up even more, I guess, maybe. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's a... Matthew brings up a really interesting point. You know, there's... that kind of brings us to the whole diminishing returns conversation, right? Which I always find fucking fascinating. Like, I love that, like, with our quads, there's a point where if you go to a big enough battery, you'll actually, like, lose runtime. I mean, you'll certainly lose performance. I just find that whole dance of, like, performance versus runtime versus durability versus all the things. I find that shit fascinating. Like, that's what I really love about, like, hanging out with you guys and, like, having these live streams, to be honest, is, like, being able to have these conversations and group think this shit a little bit. Because, like, yeah, it's just, it's really cool. It's just a really cool, like, sort of challenge to... Fuck, do you guys remember which arm I had this motor on? Son of a bitch. Was it this one? I think it was this one. It looks like it should be on this one. I'll put a screw in. Yeah, I love that. It's a really fun engineering challenge for me. I think it was on this arm. Yeah, it's totally on this arm. Yeah, it's the one. I can just leave it screwed on, I think. Yeah. So there's that. Let me actually get this guy facing down a little bit. Come on, motor. Stop rotating, please. Be cool. Be cool, man. Be cool. Oh my god, look at the size of the solder blob on that one. What the fuck happened? What happened to you, homie? Looking like shit up in there. I got you. I got you, fam. I didn't pull quite enough off. It's windy as fuck outside right now. Alright, that's better. Okay. So here's my little sequence when I do this, just so you know. So I grab it in the tweezers, I hold it where it needs to be. I haven't really talked about this much. This is something that I've actually learned like during the time of doing these live streams, like this specific little sequence of actions that I do when I have control over where. So this is going to be tough for me to show you. So I use the tweezers to grab the wire. I can't always do this, but I try to do this as often as I can. So I use the tweezers to hold the wire. Come on, Logitech, you piece of dog shit. There's like a million high contrast things right in the middle of the screen. You motherfucker, you! Back it up a little bit. Alright. You use the tweezers to grab it, and then and hold it straight on the pad, right? But there's a little bit more to it than that. When you first grab it, I push the tip of the pliers down into the carbon fiber so that the tweezers can't go any farther down, right? And then I grab the wire. So that's where it starts. So when you look at it from the side, it looks like that, right? Yeah, but you see how the wire is sitting up really high on the pad? But if you look at the one that I already did, the wire's sitting nice and flat on the pad. See the difference? Right? So how the fuck am I doing that? If I'm grabbing it and holding it with the tweezers like this. So what I do is now I'm holding it, like right now, in this moment, I'm holding it. But as soon as I put this soldering iron on, I'm actually going to release with the tweezers just a little bit so that with the tip of the soldering iron, I can push the wire down flat into the pad, and then I grip up again with the tweezers once I've pushed the wire flat down against the pad, because now it's being pushed down in the pad like that. So then I can grip up again with the tweezers and squeeze it once it's flat on the pad, and then I can hold it perfectly, make sure that I leave the heat on there for long enough for it to flow, and then remove the tip of the soldering iron and just keep the tweezers sitting here with a little bit of downward pressure, because again the tips are pushing into the carbon, so it holds it absolutely perfectly on that pad, and then you just count 1 1000 2 1000 to let the solder cool and harden. So yeah, that's funny. I haven't really talked much about that for whatever reason. It's just something that I do. And yeah, that gets you a beautiful solder joint that's incredibly strong, because the wires, and you're also, when you push down with the tip of the soldering iron, you're not pushing down too hard, but you're pushing down a little bit, which will get the wires to fray out a little bit. You don't want them to fray out too much though, because then you'll run into issues with pads bridging against one another. But if you get those wires to fray out just a little bit, that makes the joint even stronger, because instead of a round bundle of wires on a flat pad, right? Like, if you don't do that, you've got a round bundle on a flat pad, and that's going to stand up. But if you fray them out, they're going to just flatten a little bit, so you get an even better little contact patch. But again, just a little bit, because you don't want to run into problems with bridging. So you just squash them down a little bit. You can feel it. You can literally feel it. Like when you're pushing down, you'll just feel like this little of like a couple of the wires and flattening themselves out. And once you've done it like 1,000,000 times, you get better at that feeling. And then you can get these perfect little solder joints eventually that are really, really strong, until they're not. Unless you fuck them up. That's probably, and again, you can't it's pretty, you can't get that every time. Like there's a lot of situations where it's a funny angle. And you can't get it quite perfect like that, but most of the time you can. Usually it'll take you another second to get your hand in the right spot, or but you don't know. I'm in the middle of telling you. How would you know? Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It's late. It's after midnight. Leave me alone. What do you want from me? What do you want from me? These are nice little bundles of probably 20 gauge wire. These are going to go in a giveaway. Always nice to have extra little bundles of wire. Random FPV says, have my babies, goddammit? No! I refuse. I will not impregnate you, sir. 661 FPV says, real question is, why are props measured in inches when every other part of the quad is measured in metric? Oh, that's a really good question. Although GemFan's trying to bring the metric back on all the Cinewoop props. Oh man, my voice is starting to go. This will be we're coming up on 5 hours of streaming for the day almost. I think I streamed for almost 2 hours on the sim. What is going on outside? Holy hell. Hey, I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the first time the other night. Man. I can't believe I ever thought that was a scary movie. Unbelievable how much better we've got at filmmaking over the years, eh? Yeah, man, that was... It's funny. Horror movies... I shit you not. Horror movies are just directors of photography and producers and directors chance to just do weird shit. It's really funny to see it. Watching that there are like all these occasions where I'm like, where I just look at it, I'm like, really? Like the DP, I just like, I'm like channeling, like talking to the DP of like, easy, 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 easy. Like, okay, we get it, 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 we get it. Like, it's just, it's a lot. Like they're really going for it, but like, I get it. I mean, they don't get too many chances to go ham like that. It's all good. But I don't know, it's just funny sometimes. It's like, yeah, come on. All right, I get it. It's their eyeball. That's a lot of eyeball. I know what you're trying to do. And like the other thing is, like, back then, they didn't know what they were doing. Like, they were making it up, and they were, you know, experimenting, and that's great. That's great. But yeah, you can. I think with horror, you can kind of like hide a lot of crimes, so to speak. And you can, yeah, it's just a good opportunity to be very creative. Let's say that. I think that's the right way to put it. I am not a fan of the genre at all, to be really honest with you guys. I have issues with nightmares. I always have, and if I watch like so like that movie is like a big joke, right? So that I'm totally fine with that. But like a more convincing, newer, properly scary horror movie, I will have nightmares for fucking like weeks and weeks and weeks, if not months, and it sucks. It sucks. Like I just don't. I have trouble sleeping as it is. The last thing I fucking need is to get woken up in the middle of the goddamn night with some bullshit ass nightmare. Like, there's just, I don't have fucking time for, like, literally, I don't have time for that. Like, I actually don't have time for that. Like, if I can get sleep, I need to fucking sleep. So, yeah, I just don't watch scary movies. Which is fine, because you know what? There's a shitload of other movies out there that are really good. So I just watch all those. Like, I don't need to be able to watch every single movie ever made. It's kind of nice to have a whole genre of movies where it's like, I don't have to worry about those. Don't have to fucking... Because, you know, that with the completionist shit, it's like, we gotta always see everything. And it's like, well, great. Here's a whole shitload of movies that I don't have to see because I have an excuse. That's pretty awesome. It's just a very strange noise out in the living room. What the fuck? Stop spinning in my hand, you jackass. Alright, that's better. Ooh, I'm a little hungry too. I'm gonna have to have a little snack after this. Get back up there, you jackass. You jackass! Alright, let's get this going here. Get out of the way. This guy's a little short, actually. I think I cut these sort of on the diagonal a little bit, but it's actually fine. I just have to pull this forward. Does anybody else solder their wires up like that with the tweezers the way that I do? Is that like old news that I do it that way? Or did I just absolutely blow every single one of your fucking minds out your assholes? Man, I get really cursy after dark. Jesus. I feel like nobody's watching, so I can just go ham for the few people that are. Alright. We are done with this build. I'm not going to make you guys watch me struggle with the vertical camera plates, because that whole process is just ridiculous, and I won't subject you to that. And there's also like nothing to learn from that process of me doing that other than wanting to claw your eyes out. It's not that bad. And it's only because I have these wacky prototype camera plates. The production ones will be properly sized and cut. All right, boys and girls, I am going to sign off. There you go. So then, camera plate, here's what it'll look like. It's all done. Camera plate, hardware in there, top plate, bing bang boom. I'll put the RXSR antennas back out on the arms like they were, and it'll be a rip squeak again. Look at that. Oh shit, I saw it zoomed in. Oh, balls. I will plug it in 661 just for you. There it is. Look at that, a rip squeak. Yay, with an AIO. Smoke stopper here. We will plug it in and see if it explodes. It's the most important part of the build. If it does explode, I'm gonna fucking punch somebody. Alright. And we've got the smoke stopper set on 1 amp mode. And, right, yeah, blue light is 2 amps. This is 1 amp. 3, 2, 1. Hey, it works. Kick it up to 2 amp mode. No fire. Good to go. DVR board is flashing. RXSR is flashing. VTX is flashing. All the things are flashing. All the things are working. All is right with the world. My name is Aaron Ciotti, and you've just been fed. What is that from? I don't know what that's from. Jin Loco says, how you like those motors? I haven't flown them yet. I'll let you know once I start bashing the shit out of them. Brandon Baked Bean says, which Texas Chainsaw, the old one? Alright, we're good to go. Thanks for hanging, fellas. Thanks for the donations, the generosity, the love, your time, your semen. Whatever you do, I don't give a shit. You do you. I'm gonna go make a little snack and finish this thing up and shit my pants. That's how my night's gonna go. How about you? Ooh. This thing went dead. Here comes a little more flying from the cloudy day. Enjoy it. I'll see you again on Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. Hey, Friday night, no stream. I will be paddling a canoe. That's not a canoe. What is it? A kayak. I will be paddling a kayak in the dark with Maggie. Hopefully I don't get lost. Although, if I get lost with her forever in a kayak, I'm cool with that. Thanks for hanging, friends. Here's some more flying. Oh, I gotta get Epidemic Sounds going. Oh my god, why? Oh my god, why? What is happening? Why is this happening to me? Oh god. There we go. Don't, what are you going full screen for, you dick bird? Who told you to go full screen? Wasn't me. You know why? Because I don't... Here we go. Alright, friends. What was that? Oh, it's this song. Be good. Later!
I'm trying to touch the States this time. 2021. Gotta show him I can still rap though.
Now I'm in the game, I was on the bench. First I was renting, now I'm collecting rent. First it with the Beamer, now I want the Benz. Spending all the back like here I go again. Outside says chirp, now the camera phone. Told you I'ma keep the channels on. Why you acting different when the camera's on? Why you acting different like your paper long? 8 day wake up and I thank God. Bad decision got you wishing you could say nah. My city gritty, you could get hit any day now. On my mama, I'ma move my family way out. With some 20s, 50s, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions, zillions. I'm talking Amazon money, talking so much money I could mess around and buy Amazon. I been winning, I'm like, why me? I heard these labels wanna buy me. I don't need you, boo, I style me. I roll G's and they grind me. Now I'm on my game, nothing is the same. Who am I to blame? Money made me change. Cardi in my ring when I'm switching lanes. Money in the carry on them Boeing planes. Money in the carry on them Boeing planes. Now I got $1 for all those rainy days. Ain't have a day off in like 80 days. I got hustles in like 80 ways. Kids if he won't take a lazy day. Wifey on me told me take a break. I keep going to the paper street.